Hey realists around the world, it's Friday, December 8th. My name's Reagan. I'm just going to chat. I don't expect to get 50 upvotes on this. I was just explaining to my roommate who was graduating with his master's degree in business that America is essentially a ripoff and capital has been consolidated in such a way that you are forever in atonement and a peasant working for a future which doesn't exist. And I can explain just for a second, as I did to him, breaking it down. You buy a house for $250,000, which requires a 20% down payment, which I don't know where you get the money for that. And then you pay interest on that. So you essentially pay the house and then itself on top of a car, which also has interest and insurance. Then your college degree, which you will forever be indebted for. Apparently Biden has released some kind of 10-year loan payment plan. If you've been paying it on it for 10 years, you're forgiven. But I don't know, that just got announced this week. So that's kind of been up in the air, since his election. His whole promise of removing college debt has been pretty much put to the wayside, as far as I can tell. So you're getting ripped off, basically, in every single way. And that's not to mention, what if your water heater breaks down or your car's engine blows out? You have insurance for these sort of things, but not all the time. You have to just be walking on eggshells, and everything has to go perfectly in your life. And sure, there are people who are substantially better off, who were afforded this lifestyle of decent living, but they were born into that. I had to explain, and what zip code you were born into basically determines your whole future and what wealth and assets your family had to pass on to you. Sure, there are the circumstances rare situations where people work their way out of poverty, but you can't bet on that. Most people are working like a mule for no retirement, for nothing. So it's not uncommon for people just to be working all the time and sacrificing their health, which is something I'm unwilling to do. My health is much more important than getting a promotion at work. And my job is essentially like Grand Theft Auto, that video game. I go here, I pick up an item, I listen to music and drive there and avoid traffic. It's fun. I make it fun. And I can clock out at any time. So that's what I've been doing. And I have no judgment. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I wear the same clothes sometimes. Don't care. The point is to become at peace with yourself, and I don't need to lecture you on that. In other news, Billie Eilish came out as queer. The Cybertruck came out. Man, 2023 has been a whirlwind of world events, from major environmental disasters to election trials, and exhausting. Not to mention my own life, finding the right people to be around. So I'm heading to Rah Rah Village. People sometimes call me Rah Rah. It's very fitting, but that's later. And that's what I had to explain to him. At some point you realize you're getting ripped off. The system doesn't work for you as it did for, let's say, boomers. And if all this sounds depressing, this is what young people are come face to face with. That you want to get as far away from the system, get off grid, and easier said than done. I know there's a lot of these YouTube channels that paint this Hollywood picture of getting off grid. And one guy even came out and said it's not a Hollywood production, yet he has land and multiple solar power generators. And it's where'd you come up with the money of that? Tell us the whole story. That for the average person, that's not possible. And they know that. The ones in power. All right, now I'm not going to get conspiracy theorists on you. Illuminati. No. There are certainly people working in tandem, colluding to make you live in peasant, to make you live no different than a slave. It's the new feudalism. Yeah, there's a whole book on that. All right. So I'm going off in tangents. I'm healthy, and that's what I'm grateful for. And I have some funny experiences here in town, and I take them because this is what living is about. Is the sweet little moments in between moments of grinding. Okay, so 2 comedic experiences I had recently one of them was at a liquor store. I overheard a conversation between 2 African Americans, an older gentleman and a younger woman. She was the clerk at the liquor store, and he was buying goods there, and he was going off his relationship with his wife and how long it's been and what they've been through and their struggles of just, marriage. And she was congratulatory and in awe. He broke the message and said, yeah, but then I saw you and I almost forgot about her. I couldn't help but laugh. And I said, and overhear this, and because I was right next to them, I said, I didn't hear anything. And then another experience I had was 2 employees at a grocery store. One of them, another 2 African American, they were both in their early 20s, and she was explaining how she went out the night previously or before and was getting harassed by this guy who kept antagonizing her throughout the night, and at one point took her phone, I think. And he gave her pretty straightforward advice and said, what you need is a threat multiplier. You need something that'll send him into another dimension and not come back. And I said, like a gat? And he said, exactly. Yeah, Akron's a quirky, industrial hellhole that's reminiscent of Prohibition-style era antics with rundown bars and trash everywhere. Every kind of person here in Ohio. I don't recommend it. I agree. It's like Monopoly. All the places have been taken already. Pretty much every kind of person you expect here. Old, young, every color of the rainbow. Rich, poor. From every part of the world. It's an experience. And I can't wait to be gone soon. In a few months. Need to save up as much money as possible. I do rely on your support for this content and channel. You know that. And yeah, so I'm going to get my weekend going. It's usually busy. Been much busier lately that it's been getting cold. There's like a million cats around, and all I can hope is that Una found a little colony that she can snuggle up with and keep warm. One can hope. I appreciate you folks. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.